All right, it's the Mina's House podcast, episode 163. Welcome. We got the whole gang in the house today. I'm Mina SayWhat.
I'm Shana B.
Garnett Briscoe.
Dexter.
Yo, so we're all stuck in the snowmageddon. So I'm in New Jersey. We got 30 inches, they said. 30 inches.
Crazy.
Yeah, I could barely open up my back door right now.
I couldn't open my back door. I had to walk the trash all the way around.
Wasn't that bad for me? I actually went. I shoveled my car out today, and it's just like the way they do it around here. I'm in an apartment complex, so they do like a clean sweep. So the ground is perfect, but they pile everything up against your car. So it's just like, what am I supposed to do? Like,
they like, well, listen, you can walk.
Yeah, right.
Shana and I were just talking about that. And as women, when you're single, it really sucks. Like this old little man that I don't know came and saw me struggling, came over to help me. I wanted a cute young man to come over and help me.
I had one man stop and he said, I literally thought I was having a heart attack. I literally was like, this is it. I'm going. I can't do this no more. I leaned on the car. He said, do you need help? I said, yes. He said, I'll do it for 35. I said, I only got 20. He said, deal.
Look, I saw this meme earlier today. It was like a woman laying down and something was coming out of her body. It said, the feminism leaving my body when it's time to shovel snow.
You know, seriously. Listen, this guy had slid in my DMs. He's like, hey, I wish I could get snowed in with you. And I actually know him. He's not like a random, but I was like, you gonna come and shovel my car? Listen, you ain't right. You got stuff to do if you're trying to get snowed in. We gotta put you to work.
Responsibilities. Ain't nothing wrong with giving a guy a shot after he come over and shovel your driveway or whatever the case may be.
After, don't give him any attention. Because you let him come over the night before, he's gonna get up the next day and leave and not shovel your car out.
You gonna shovel his out of there.
He gotta do the work first, huh? All right, let's get into what's in our feed. I really could not wait to talk to you guys about this Wendy Williams biopic. I mean, mainly because there's a lot of people that I know in the biopic, and the people that I know are saying that the stories are a lie. I mean, she even said in the biopic that she was high in the majority, while she was doing her job. So I think she was just like coked out and maybe like, remembered things in a hazy way. But I'm going to kind of remove my bias because I have had an interaction with her and she was super mean to me. So she's actually not like my favorite person, but as like viewers, how did you guys process the biopic?
I would say, it's funny because I watch her a lot too. And I was wondering that too, because she had such a big part in it. And it happened, I think today or yesterday, they did a replay of her show where they showed a scene, and she actually said, well, they left out this part, and this part. And now watching it, because this was a repeat today, but now watching it, I'm like, well, if you had control, why is like stuff like that happening? Like, and again, that was like a small scene where it was a scene where something with one of her bosses. And she said, oh, they left out this part, and this is how it really happened. So I don't know if like some of it was creative license that she just allowed them to have. I definitely think, obviously we see she was definitely getting high all the time. So, I do think that might play a huge factor.
Yes. Like
she was getting it in.
Like in her little head, her little high head, things were happening and that wasn't really the way it was happening.
I guess I knew like she did coke, but I wasn't thinking it was like while you was at work.
In the bathroom, on the toilet while you're pooping.
Right. I was thinking it was like a recreational when you was home or at the party or something.
I honestly thought it was very good. Like I was a fan of Wendy Williams, like growing up and stuff like that. So like some of this stuff I didn't know, but it was a lot of stuff that I had no idea about. And I liked it like for what it was. I don't necessarily, it's her telling her story the way she sees it. So like obviously other people are going to be like, I don't know about that. Like that's not exactly how that happened, but it was from her perspective. Then afterwards they did a documentary, and I thought the documentary was crazier than the movie was, because specific with her family, like I just feel like her mom has passed away. That is stuff that I would have been like, please take that out of this documentary. Like it just does not paint her parents in a good light. Like her parents still to this day, well, her mom has passed, but her dad, I guess, to this day still don't really see the damage that they caused to their child. They're like, at one point, they're like, she struggled with her weight forever. We put her on a diet in first grade. A child should not be on a diet in first grade. We put her on a diet in first grade, and look at her now. She looks great now. But like, she's had plastic surgery and all this stuff. It's just like, what is wrong with y'all?
That was pretty deep. I agree with you, Dex. That was like serious, because like you said, seeing them, it was one thing to see the actors play it, but seeing them like in their 80s stand by, like, oh, well, she just had a little bit too much mashed potatoes. And I was like, oh.
But then I did know, I mean, I'm in Philadelphia and I know her from Philadelphia. I didn't know New York Wendy. I knew Philadelphia Wendy. And I saw like literally every person who I know in the industry in Philadelphia was like, what the hell is this? Like, this isn't true. And it was really interesting to see it, like to see the people in Philadelphia put their truths out and what they think really happened, what they saw. And like Mina was saying, like everybody is like, that's not how it was. Like, that's not true. But I do think though, a lot of people were kind of like in their feelings a little bit about it, just because like she kind of said some of their names and stuff. So it's like, I get why they would be upset about it.
I mean, like, it's Wendy Williams. She's iconic. Some may think for, the wrong reasons or the right reasons, but yeah, it's always going to be controversy with her. She's always going to see something that's not there for some reason, even on her show where her like passing out and becoming a meme. Like, it's like the legend still continues today, just like the craziness around her. I listened to a couple of her interviews, just previously before the documentary stuff came out. And she was pretty open about, just how much she did drugs. Just seeing it is a little bit wilder than, I can imagine. But she's always just, I guess, just been pretty honest and open with kind of like how she's been living. So, to get to see everything is a little bit crazier. But yeah, that's my take on Wendy Williams.
I want to say shout out to Toya because she's watching us on Facebook. She's been watching every week. So we appreciate the support, up, boo.
Raise the roof, Toya. Let's go. It's like, nah, don't worry.
You know, one thing though that I do think, like, listen to what Garnett said. Like, she was very open about her drug use, past tense. But it was like, when you passed out, like, you never really explained what that was from. Like, you kind of blamed it on like stress, but like
and alcohol.
Yeah.
Was it alcohol? Don't make me pass out like that.
I've never passed out mid-sentence.
So that was the one thing I didn't like. She alluded to it, the fact that she was dependent on alcohol, but tried to like stretch it like it wasn't what it was. So I didn't know, like, yeah, were there some drug use going on? Or like she just kept saying, like, and in the documentary, like, well, what would you do? What would you do? Like, I was drinking, but it was like, I guess from being a recovering addict, she wasn't willing to say, like, I was an alcoholic. So that was a little like disconnect for me, because they showed her drinking and she kept saying, what would you do? But she didn't really own, like, yeah, at the time I was like drinking every 5 seconds or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and then she said she had to go live in the sober house, but she said she was forced to live in the sober house, not that she felt like she needed to be there. So it's like, was there a substance abuse problem, or did he force you to do it? Like, that was weird. And I know for a fact, just to put this out there real quick, I know for a fact that she did not get out that car and run to tag those people's house. That didn't happen in real life. I've seen her run on the show, and you can't run. So that didn't happen.
Especially with the lymphedema.
No, but I think for me, really, the I guess the ironic part is she's so mean sometimes to other people, but now when you see what she went through, kind of helps you understand a little bit why she is as ruthless as she is. I mean, when your own parents are telling you you're fat and putting you on a diet, like, these are supposed to be the people that protect you in your life, and they're straight up being real with you, like, yo, you a fat bitch. you need to lose weight, right? You fat. Like, that teaches you from a very early on in life, moment in life, that there's no delicate way to deliver sensitive information.
Yeah.
I mean, her parents couldn't even delicately deliver to her that she needed to lose some weight. You know, like they were straight up mean with her. So why would she have that same kind of sympathy with someone else's truth?
Yeah.
They could have did a better job, though. They could have found some more gentle words in order to say that, you know, like
I agree.
For instance, like, you know, when somebody, I guess, has like stink breath and you don't know kind of like how to approach that, like, what's your best approach? Or you could tell them like, yo, your breath is a little kicky today, my guy. Or you could just like, hey, would you like a piece of gum? And just pray that they take the hit. So I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. At an early age, she's being taught by the people that are supposed to love her the most in the world to protect her, that we're going to deliver information without filter, regardless of how it makes you feel, and what kind of long-term psychological damage that information is going to have on your life and your psyche and your self-esteem. So why would she have that kind of consideration for anybody else?
Right.
I think what you just said is exactly what it is. Like her parents delivered that information with no filter. So she felt like that's how you're supposed to go through life. Deliver information with no filter. That's
exactly it. And it really helped me understand her. So now I understand her meanness. But yeah, you know what I thought was ironic though? I'll never forget reading Angie's book, and you know, she didn't cover this in the movie, right? The fight between her and Angie.
No.
Right. So there was a fight, right? Because you know they used to come on after each other. I think Angie used to do middays and she used to do afternoons, and she used to say like the subliminal things about Angie, how there's women in the radio game who have sex with the rappers, and you know Angie whooped her ass, and as we know from the biopic, she can't fight. You know, I mean, the chick from Total pulled up and she had what's his name handle her fight, you know?
She was honest about that. She was not trying to fight either because she couldn't fight.
So,
but it's just crazy because Wendy Williams is like an Amazon woman. Like she could be a WWE wrestler. Why are women not afraid of her? You piss people off that much that they're willing to come up. Like, I'm not gonna try to fight Shaq. I don't think I can beat him. The fact that these women are like, I'm gonna go fight Wendy Williams, you really piss somebody off. Like,
women, when we angry, we don't care which side is. When we angry, ain't nothing you can do to stop our anger.
About to say that, yeah, you pissed the wrong woman off. This will be a long night for you.
You could be Shaq, and we ain't even gonna notice that. Like, I told you.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought it was ironic that that's what she used to say about Angie, right? To the point where Angie's like, yo, this chick keeps talking about me on the radio. I'm gonna whoop her ass, like subliminally. And she's over here talking about she got pregnant by Eric B. She bathed Method Man. Now, girl, you was messing around with all the rappers too. What you talking about?
That's how it be even in the sports industry. You know, the women that be like, oh, she can't be here because she gonna sleep with all the players. Be the one sleeping with all the players. You know, they don't want nobody else doing what you doing.
The Eric B, because they might not want them to get the one that they want.
Right.
Now, the Eric B thing is really odd to me. We got to do better as men. So, like in the documentary, the movie, she's like, I got pregnant by him. He ruined my credit. He made me borrow a car. I'm like run out of car for him, so forth and so on. He jumps on Instagram and the only thing he posts is like, I don't need nobody to help me rent a car. And it's like, what about the fact that this woman said that she had an abortion because of you? Like, address that. And then Method Man's wife is like, Wendy is so obsessed with us, this, that, and the third. She's trying to get clout off of Method Man's fame. I said, Method Man's fame?
Don't do that. He's on power. He's on power.
Don't do that. But she did never deny. She came at Wendy, but she never denied that they
not necessary. I don't think Wendy was lying about it. And like Wendy Williams is definitely more popular than Method Man is. Like, we're not gonna pretend like that's not the case.
Yeah. Can I read the full statement? Because that was a read. That was the classiest read. She's in the Phaedra Parks with read round with this. Yeah. So let's read it. A statement from Tamika Smith, wife of Method Man. This is what she put on her own Instagram, right? She's talking about herself in the third person. For years, I have kept my silence while Wendy Williams launched constant verbal attacks against my husband, myself, and our family. In the past, I have ignored her lies, innuendos, and blatant attempts to provoke us. But Wendy has proven again and again that she is incapable of any decency. Her obsession with our lives has reached a new low, and I'm tired of taking the high road. In an obvious attempt to increase ratings for her sad biopic, her struggling TV show, and her burnt out career, Wendy has once again targeted my husband. It is a pattern that she has repeated for years. When I was diagnosed with cancer years ago, Wendy shared my medical information with her listeners live on air during her radio broadcast. She didn't care that she was violating my right to privacy or that I hadn't shared that news of my diagnosis with my family and friends yet. She never apologized, never expressed any regret whatsoever. Despite my anger, I chose not to respond publicly to her unhealthy fixation with my husband and our marriage. It was clear that she was sick and she was struggling with a lot of issues, including self-hate and low self-esteem. Over the years, these issues have made her increasingly ugly, both inside out, and no amount of plastic surgery can fix the ugliness inside of her. Instead of using her platform to uplift women, she has spent her career attacking marriages while her own fell apart. She criticized celebrities battling addictions despite her own struggles with substance abuse. There is no limit to how low she will go in the name of making headlines. There's more. Her career is on life support. Her husband has abandoned her, and her ratings for all of her projects are down. She's desperate for attention, and she's trying to use my husband's popularity as a way to get her name trending. How sad that a woman who was once revered in the entertainment industry has reduced herself to a tabloid side note and a circus freak. For the record, my marriage is solid. My husband continues to enjoy a successful career, and Wendy will forever be one of the most miserable bitches on the planet.
I read all that, was like, so she did bathe him though, because the one thing you did say was, you never said she lied. You just said she upset. I was like, oh, so they slept together. Okay. So bath went down, got it.
She said Wendy shared my cancer stuff, and I didn't even tell my family. Well, who told Wendy?
Yo, my exact thoughts when I read that. I'm like, how does she have all this information?
We're like, somebody had to leak it. It's HIPAA.
Did your man tell her where she was bathing him? I don't know. Like, what's going on?
Dexter, you wrong for that.
The one thing that I was going to say, it was the best, worst part of the documentary, not really the biopic, was a screen flashes up during the documentary, and it says, you know, they reached out to Kevin Hunter, and he didn't have any comment, and he denied all allegations against him. So of course I went to Twitter, because you got to go to Twitter on things like this, and people started putting, imagine being the side chick with the baby watching this right now, and he denied that you even exist. People were like, bruh, it's pictures and videos. Like, we know it happened. Why are you denying it?
Yeah, like, what exactly are you denying? You're denying that this woman exists. You're denying that you had a baby that we saw you holding in your hand and we saw the birth certificate. Like, what exactly? It's not like she said he beat me, this, that, and the third. There's really no allegations here. She told the facts about your life that we all know.
She did say that he never hit her. He was like, he emotionally abused me, but he never put his hands on me, which in my opinion, emotional abuse is just as bad as physical abuse.
It is. He cheated on you your entire marriage.
What?
He cheated on you your entire marriage. Like,
yeah. She's better than me. I just had a baby and you out. First of all, this is why you don't allow men to have their own little like bachelor pad. Like, girl, you would set yourself up. You didn't see that where he used to go over there, you know, and drink and smoke with his boys. Not me.
I would have been in the basement.
I would have been right there with you. Who need the blood rolled?
Oh, you rolling blunts too?
I'm not smoking, but I roll it. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. So we've kind of talked slightly about the entertainment portion of it. We know that Jasmine Sullivan and her are performing. Jazzy's going to be doing the national anthem. It's actually a duet with the country guy, Eric Church, and then her is doing America the Beautiful. The Weeknd spent $7 million on his halftime performance. I don't know what the hell is about to happen. But what how are we thinking about the game? You know, it's this Sunday.
I mean, The game. I feel like Tom Brady gonna win. At the end of the day, I feel like it's kind of like Batman. Like if you live long enough, you gonna be a villain and then become a hero again. And it's kind of like him. Like people hate him for for most of his career, but now to see him at a different team and realize, maybe he doesn't have a real shot at going. And then now to see everybody kind of like, oh snap, like I actually like the guy now. The guy's a real winner. The guy's a real, team player and all that stuff. So that's how I feel about it. I do think it's going to be a good game, but are they letting people in the stadium?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're letting people in the stadium and healthcare workers. They got 7,500 healthcare workers that have taken the vaccine and they're attending the game for free.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
that's beautiful. I think that's going to be the most beautiful part is to see all that together, including the halftime show. And I can't wait to see what this $7 million performance has to offer. But yeah.
Yeah, and why is The Weeknd spending his own money on the halftime show? I know J-Lo and Shakira didn't do that.
So I don't know. We talked about this last year. I don't know why who spends the money, but they don't get paid for it. The NFL doesn't pay anybody for their performances. So I would assume that it has to, be paid by the artist because they're considered a nonprofit organization.
Who is considered a nonprofit organization?
The NFL.
Shit.
Right. Loopholes.
Well, they don't.
Well, here's what I know. I know that they don't pay them a salary to perform, but they will pay for different elements of the performance, like the performance elements, but there's a cap. So if you want to do anything over what they are willing to pay, you got to come out of pocket.
I mean, they do have a sponsor, Pepsi, so Pepsi probably pays for it. Unless Pepsi says that they're nonprofit too.
No.
But you know, like I'm with you, Garnett, as far as like, I think Tom Brady's going to win. I think they should win. I don't want Kansas City to win. And I feel bad because, I don't have an issue with Andy Reid, but like, I will never forget the beginning of the season for whatever reason. Kansas City were letting people in there in the midst of a pandemic. And they booed people for kneeling during the national anthem. I don't respect it. I can't be okay with that. And then also, you got my boy Trey Songz locked up like a couple weeks ago in Kansas City. Like, and then you know what? Also, Chloe and Halle were there and they performed. And I think they had on Breonna Taylor, like inspired gear. And then, or George Floyd or Breonna Taylor, one or the other, in the midst of all that stuff happening, and the people booed them. No respect for Kansas City. You guys are cursed. You guys don't deserve to win. I'm going 100% for Tampa Bay, and I want them to win. If I had a hat, I'll put the hat on. I switch my NFL teams like it's nothing. So I would put a Tampa Bay hat on real quick.
Well, I support Patrick Mahomes. I really want, him, to continue his success. And obviously, we're all a fan of the coach. So, but like Trey Songz deserved to get locked up. He was like, right. Don't.
I can't blame them for that.
No. I mean, listen, and I would like to see Andy Reid get a chip, but I wouldn't be mad if Tom Brady won again because, as much as we do dislike him, we dislike him because he's that good. Yeah. Like that's really why no one likes him because he keeps winning.
Win all the Super Bowls. Your wife is a model. Like, save some accomplishments for the rest of us.
I actually dislike Tom Brady for a whole nother reason, and it's
he does like Donald Trump, and y'all be getting mad at.
But and that's not even it. When his first child's mother is an actress, and he was with her. They have been together for a couple years. She's pregnant. He tells her, all right, I think we have a little bit relationship issues, but I'm gonna go to, I don't know, like Fashion Week in Paris, and I'll be back. She sees like on the blogs that he's with Giselle, and they say, are y'all dating? And he says yes. And he has this pregnant woman back home, and I can't remember. I think her name is like Bridget Monahan. She was in iRobot, and so she says she's like, that's how I found out. She's like, I'm 8 months pregnant, thinking my boyfriend is coming back home, and I see like in these blogs. He's telling everybody he's dating Giselle. So that's actually why I don't like Tom Brady. And I've never liked him since then. I felt bad for that woman. Like, she was my friend.
I see now I feel like I can't even say this. I was gonna say at least with Tampa Bay, like 4 of their assistant head coaches are black men. And like now I feel like that doesn't matter because he's a bad person.
Okay. But that's my gripe with Tom. My mom be like, you need to let it go. That woman to let it go. I'm like, I'm not letting it go, Mom.
No, I agree with you too. Especially
Your husband
That's
left you for a Victoria's
heartbreaking.
Secret model. She's never letting that go.
While you were pregnant. That's
Why,
the
8 months pregnant.
right.
And your boyfriend say, "We gonna talk about this when I get back home," and then you see him in the blogs with Giselle.
He pulled the Tristan Thompson. That's what he
Yeah,
pulled.
that was pretty. That was just pretty immature on his end. That's a wow on
And they
TV.
have been together for 5 years.
You got the tea, Shayna.
Yes, and that's
Hold
why now every time she ends something, I be watching it like I'm paying her salary or something. Like, let me support her.
I mean, you at least gotta cut the guy a little bit of slack. I mean, how early of this like was in his career? Like,
It was kind of, but again, if you date a woman, I don't care if you're celebrity or not. 5 years, she's 8 months pregnant. If you really were going to break up, and he's never denied it. Because again, he's Tom Brady. I don't think he feel like he has to.
Toya called him Tom Ratchet.
That's some ghetto stuff.
The only other concern I have about the Super Bowl, I don't know if y'all read those stories about so one of the barbers was it Tampa Bay or Kansas City? I think it was Kansas City. One of the barbers for the team tested positive, and then some of the players then tested positive, and now they can't. They're on the injured reserve list, but they can't start.
Oops.
Yeah, there was I think it's two starting offensive linemen for the Chiefs, which is pretty big in a game like this. And that has to just suck, period. I mean, this is the biggest game of your life, and you can't play, and it's not because you're injured.
Right.
No, that barber is fired.
Immediately.
You are fired.
God don't like ugly, and God did that to you in the name of George Floyd.
Why are you blaming these players over their ratchet fans?
Because look, y'all support them. Because if that was me and I'm out there and I hear y'all booing Chloe and Holly, I'm like, hold on, don't boo these girls. Come on. But they didn't do that. They let them do it, just like Tom Brady let Giselle say they were together.
Well, speaking of Chloe and Halle, Chloe has kind of been getting some backlash for her silhouette challenge. I think they've been very protective over their brands, Chloe and Halle. And now that Chloe has her own Instagram, she thotting it up on her Instagram, and people are like, this is too sexy. This is too much. I mean, how do you guys feel about that? And then the challenge in general.
I love these challenges. Keep them going. Bring them. I'm waiting to see what's next because it's getting riskier and riskier. So I can't wait to see what's next. But now I saw an interesting tweet after that too. One of the girls ended up saying just like it's funny how just the other day men were like raving over her about how like her the busset challenge just was like so nice, so dope, so attractive, and then she I guess buys into it and releases another challenge, and then now you guys are bashing her. So I just feel like that is a little crazy how you ask for something or applaud something, because people sit on the internet and applaud sexy stuff or stuff that's funny all day long. But when somebody, I guess, does it too much for their liking because of how they see their brand, or well, she wasn't doing this all beforehand, this and that. I just feel like the internet, stop hyping people up just to bring them down. Like we really got to stop picking on people. Let that woman have fun. This whole time she probably was miserable because she didn't have her own Instagram. Like, you know how crazy that is? It's 8-year-olds with their own TikTok. So to be grown and not be in control of what you're able to do, let this woman have fun. Plus, I love what she's doing anyway.
You know what, though? Have you watched her performances? Like, if you've been watching their performance, you could definitely tell she's hyper sexual compared to the other one. The other one's like a saint, So it's like they're literally like polar opposites. And I think people seeing it on social media, now they're starting to realize it. And that's what the reaction is about.
But I also think people don't really know them either, though. For instance, their last album, Ungodly Hour, which is an amazing album.
Yes.
I totally recommend listening to it. They talk very in depth about some of the stuff that they're into. Like, if you listen to some of these songs on there, it's real subject matter on there. These are not kids. Like, these are grown women, and they're dealing with what grown women deal with. Garnett, you said we should stop making fun of people, but I'm not going to agree with you there, because I really do feel like a lot of people who go off on Chloe because of what she's posting. These are people who are kind of like built like trash bags. You know what I mean? Like they don't have the body. They can't bust it. Like nobody wants to see you bust it. The only busting you'll be doing is busting out of the pants that you're wearing. And we don't want to see that. So now you're getting upset and you're trying to downgrade somebody else for living in their own truth. Like people are allowed to do what they want to do with their bodies. This is the same generation of people who created OnlyFans pages. How are you mad at somebody for dancing with a challenge that the entire goddamn world is doing? Like, we're ridiculous with that.
And she's 22. Like, regular 22-year-olds are thotting it up on social media. Like, this is what they do.
You play the busted challenge at a college campus right now, every girl in that building, and some of the boys too, are dropping it low. And another thing, and I love these people, but look, she's 22 years old doing the busted challenge. There are some 40-year-olds out here doing the busted challenge. I'm just saying, like, we need to just chill out a little bit.
I was just gonna say, I think that's the issue. Like Mina said, she's 22, and we get so caught in, especially when we follow people from childhood to when they're ready to break out and be an adult. And it's in their labels, their managers, they all have these conversations where she probably does feel like, well, I got my own Instagram, so I can bust it and I can unveil what I've been wanting to do through here. I think it's just extremely tough. And you're talking about child to adult stars in the age of social media. Like, that's hard. It's hard for us to adapt, but we have to adapt. Just like when we see the young person in our family, we're like, oh, they grown now. You have to let them go and spread their wings. But as the challenge goes, I kind of agree with Garnett. I'm almost nervous to where these challenges are going. Like, I saw Lizzo's. Lala started off with the little dog, then they got extra sexy with a whip and poses. But then Tiffany Haddish and Common, I'm like, we just watching porn on these silhouette challenges. This is what's really going on. This is all porn.
I think people should be able to do what they want to do and have fun with it. As long as you feel like it's tasteful, like go off, like enjoy yourself.
I'm just surprised at how far we are. Like, these used to be things that we sent to each other in private, like people are literally putting it, like Lala with the whip. I'm like, girl, I do not need to see the whip that you use on Carmelo's ass. Like, I don't want to see that in the video. And then and what you said, Shana, was exactly what I said on air. We know them since they're kids. So it's hard to watch these people grow up sometimes, but she's 22. Like, when Beyonce was 22, she was doing Crazy in Love. Remember that little white shirt that she had where her boobies were about to pop out and the booty, the booty shorts? Like, she was super sexy in that video. She's 22. So I felt bad for Chloe, but people got to be careful with this challenge, because I was reading this article saying that there's some creeps out there that have figured out how to get rid of the filter. So they're like looking at these women naked.
Oh, how talented do you got to be in technology to do that? What? How do you Google filter?
So, as a tech expert, I did a little research to see like what this means. So basically what it is, you don't actually get to see them like naked, but basically when they do it, the filter is a red light. So if you go and you turn the saturation down, it basically makes it gray. So that makes things a little bit more visible. So, I mean, this is me though. Like, if I did a silhouette challenge, right? And I decided to be naked in my silhouette challenge, I really don't care if you get to see everything if I recorded it, I posted it, I don't care if y'all see this stuff. I can't see anybody being like, oh my God, they saw me naked, when I literally stood there butt naked and did the damn challenge. Like, I don't care about you seeing me naked. I don't care.
That's a good point though, Dex. And it's a simple fact of like, yeah, you had to set your own camera up, and if you are naked, you were really naked. So whatever happens in a sense. So I mean, you should probably just not take that too seriously and be naked to try to be on Instagram. I think that's the problem with me, in a sense, where you see some of the silhouette challenges, and it's like you worked really hard to wear nothing for this video. It's like we didn't need to, you just wear clothes and it could have been just fine. Like, you could have kept your clothes on for this.
What's really sad though is that a lot of people do these silhouette challenges obviously for attention, and if people are changing the saturation, they can't do that on your actual post. So they have to save your post and do it so you're not even getting the views.
Yeah,
That's a lot of work.
You a-hole, yo. You know what though? I almost did it only because I was actually the first. I was actually the first person to ever play that song, the Doja Cat song.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing, Dex?
Because you just kept it real.
Caught me off guard. Wow. That caught me off guard.
You just kept it super
She did say
real.
it all slick, like, I was about to do it. I did it yesterday, but
Well, only because when her album Hot Pink, which I have up there, you know, that was my favorite song. It's called Streets. So I talked about that song for like 2 weeks. Nobody was playing it. It was my favorite song on the album. I played it on my show. My boss was like, you should have played the song we're supporting. And I'm like, that's the song I like.
And never know.
And then a year and a half later, look, you know, now that song is on the charts because of this challenge. And now I get to be like, remember when you told me to play the songs that we supposed to, you know, that we support?
I think we should all do the silhouette challenge. You should do it tonight and we should post it tomorrow.
I'm not doing it now that I know that they changing the saturation to see me butt naked. I'm sorry, Dexter, but if I'm posting the silhouette challenge, I'm not posting it with the intention of you seeing my tiggle bitties.
I'm thankful one of mine, so.
But I will say though, out of the four of us, I am shocked that I have not seen a silhouette challenge from Garnett. Like that's shocking to me.
Nah, I was not in the mood to, I guess, to play around with that. Like I don't know how much. I'm not trying to be naked behind behind a red filter, but yeah, more skits coming soon.
Well, I don't got enough time. Some of these challenges are complicated. You got to record them twice, edit them together, get the filter going, sync up the song. Who got time for that?
Listen, it's hard just doing regular TikToks with these kids. I don't know how people got time to do all them challenges.
Right. All right, let's move on to our topic. I've been having this conversation with a lot of people in my life, trying to help them through their situations. So I felt like it was important for us to talk about it on the pod. How do you work with someone that you just can't stand? I've actually dealt with it a lot. And I've figured out different ways. I have not always been the most mature person in dealing with this. I've definitely learned over the years, but I was just curious, you know, if you guys have gone through this and what are some of the tips that you have used when you're working with a jerk?
I would say, like you said, I think it's a learning experience because I would say for me, like it's happened at different stages in life. And when I was younger, I really didn't know how to handle it. So I probably didn't handle it very well. I would say the first time I really had the experience, I'll never forget, I was working at Victoria's Secret on Fifth Avenue. I was going to Parsons School of Design. And these girls were so mean to me. Like they were mean girling me for no reason. Like I came in there, little bright-eyed Shana from Philly, just wanting to learn everything. And they were so mean to me. Like I called my mom crying one day. And she was like, well, you ain't no punk, stand up for yourself. But it was like, I think because I've always like been able to adapt with friends and I worked my little jobs and I never had that experience. So the first time like working with people who I knew right away, like, okay, we don't like each other, I didn't know how to handle it. So I do think it just grows and progresses depending on what your job is, depending on the profession. It's sometimes really hard when it's a person that's underneath you and you can't necessarily fire them, but you really don't get along with them. I honestly can't give one blanket word of advice, but I would just say, you know, the one thing that you always want to keep in mind is your own reputation and who you are and what you stand for. So no matter what, if it's a person above you, a peer or someone underneath you, just try to handle all of it in a light that doesn't reflect negative on you. Try to limit your interactions with them if you can, but sometimes you can't. But again, I wouldn't say if somebody calls me and tell me they did something and it's their first time doing something, I'm like, okay, don't do that again. You know, we all gonna live and learn. But it just depends on the situation. But you can do it, especially if you need that paycheck. You can do it.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I've never actually experienced that. Like I feel like in my head, maybe I'm like Wendy Williams high all the time. But in my head, if I do my biopic, like everybody likes me. So like I like everybody. Like I've never had like any issues like at work or anything like that. It'd be like certain situations where people like it kind of annoy me or whatever, but like I never let people get to me. Like people, I'm never bothered. I'm a very like happy person. Like I'm very, I don't know. Like, watch, I'm about to get a job somewhere, and they're gonna be treating me like trash. Like they're gonna treat me so badly. But I just really feel like it's one of those things. Just be like super professional. Like for instance, with the four of us here, like I like everybody here, and I just kind of assume like everybody. I just in life, I always assume everybody likes me too. So like I'm gonna listen to y'all because I don't know how I will handle this. Like somebody not liking me in life would be really like bothersome to me.
You know what though? I'm the same way, but when someone don't like you, you feel it, you know, and they talk to you like kind of sideways, and you start counting up all the side comments they don't said to you, and then you start checking every time they look you up and down, and you're like, wait a minute, is this bitch looking me up and down? Like,
you say that, I don't feel that at work, but I do. There's a liquor store down the street from me. I swear to y'all, every time I go in there, they be so mean to me, like for no reason. Like, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting like that?
Right.
I don't care. Honestly, if you know you've never done anything to this person, I haven't done nothing to you. You just don't like me for whatever reason, but you want to address it with me. It's a killing with kindness situation. Like, I don't know what your problem is with me, but I'm not trying to address nothing that you're not trying to address. So like, I don't care.
But killing with kindness gets hard too. And I've had the situation, not necessarily in work setting, but I'll say work setting because I don't want to say where it was. But at first I take that like a game, like, oh, I know she don't like me, and I know I ain't do nothing, and I'm a killer with, but that becomes exhausting. When you are always being the bigger person, it's exhausting. That you can't, it's easier said than done. And I do say do it in certain situations, but you can't even allow yourself to go through constantly being, unfortunately, the bigger person, which is why I say if you can avoid them, just avoid them. Because I'm not even going to just be speaking and saying hi to you when I know for the 99th time you don't want to say hi back. I done said hi 99 times before. I'm not doing it today. I'm tired.
Right.
That's fair.
Listen, I say when in doubt, you just gotta like turn up on them a little bit. That's all. You gotta turn up, or you gotta taunt them.
I've done that. I've turned up.
Like you give them a reason for not liking you. You show them why they should not like you. Beat them at their own game. That's actually stuff I kind of like used to do. I think to get out of that, because like you were saying, Shana, you just don't want any like reputation like that on you at the end of the day, to be an instigator, or, somebody that's rubbing something in somebody's face. But I would definitely say pray, patience, because that could definitely be hard, dealing with someone that could be a jerk to you, or things may not go your way, or like you said, Shana, just being a bigger person does get tiresome, and that just getting to that point can make you want to snap. So just trying to find patience, just so you won't get frustrated, because I feel like the frustration will block the actual right thing to do out of your brain. So it's trying not to get frustrated, trying not to be around them. If you do, keep it short, and just realize what you in it for. If your relationship with this person is strictly business, don't talk to that person about anything else besides what you have to. You ain't got to say hi. You don't have to say anything else. We focusing on this, and as soon as we're done this, we don't have to speak at all. But whenever we have to speak, let's just keep it cordial, because we both have something here that's valuable, which is our reputation, like you said, Shana. So, we got to try to at least keep it cordial for that. But
you guys actually hit most of the things that I had a list. Because I've had a lot of experience with this, and some of it I had it at a very young age, and I didn't. I'm not the kind of person, I never dislike someone when I meet them for no reason. Like there's some people that literally don't like other people for no reason. I'm not like that. Like if I have a problem with you, there's a reason. You've done something, you've said something real slick out your mouth. I'm not gonna let you talk crazy to me. There's only, I'll see it once. I'll be like, all right, I see what's going on here, but you keep doing it. you know, you're going to get a reaction from me, but my reaction has not always been the best. I have turned up on people like, okay, you want to talk? We can go. You want to go? Now, I've never punched somebody in the face. I would not recommend being physical or, you know,
Don't
pulling
get
up.
charges pressed on you,
Right.
girl.
Don't do that. But okay, you want a problem? We got a problem now. What's up? You know, but I will say,
work like that. You turning up at work?
I did once on a person because they were saying things to me, you know, and it's like when you're in the playground and someone keeps bullying you, you're not gonna keep bullying me.
That's fair.
You know, like you're not gonna keep talking to me crazy. So you want a problem? What's up? What's your problem? Go ahead.
This is also interesting too. I think women might go through this a little bit more because of the way men decide to like they share their disdain is a little bit different. It's you kind of have to do something to a man unless he knows something like you know, had sex with his girlfriend or, you know, ex-girlfriend or something like that. But other than that, dudes be pretty cool, like for the most part. So I definitely understand Dexter on that.
They don't like you.
Huh?
There's dudes that don't like women. Like I've worked with men that just
they hate
like
on
me,
y'all.
and I never did anything.
Yo, the guy that the person I turned up on was a man.
Oh wow!
But you know, a lot of guys though wouldn't do certain things to men or say certain things to men that they would say to women. Like that's a good. Then like a lot of women don't say like a lot of I agree with Garnett. I think women have it worse because I feel like a lot of guys won't say certain things to men. And I feel like a lot of women kind of almost naturally have this issue with other women that they wouldn't have with a man, even if the man is doing the same thing that another woman is doing.
Well, yeah, the issue where I had to be like, yo, what's your problem, bro? It was with a man. So, you know, I would not recommend being confrontational. I have been, but you know, when you feed into when you feed into it, it becomes a bigger thing. So you guys kind of hit it on the nail on the head. Just keep it professional, avoid the person, just talk about straight, just work. You know, I've even been, you know, down the line where there's one particular person where I would be cordial and say good afternoon and good morning and nothing. And so I stopped even speaking to the person.
Yeah, you get tired.
Right. And that's not the best way to deal with it. That's petty. But it was, but I was in my petty bag. Like, okay.
But I think that's weird though, for a person to say good afternoon or good morning to you or hello to you and you not respond. I don't know how to respond to that. Like, that's weird to me. Like, I don't even, if my friends text me in the morning and they don't say good morning and it's before like 11 o'clock, I'm not responding to the message. That's rude as hell. Like, don't talk to me before you say good morning to me.
Well, I will say
tomorrow, 10 a.m.
I will say I haven't always been the best at saying good morning. Like when I walk in a room somewhere, sometimes I'm tired, but if someone says good morning to me, I would never be rude and I'd be like, good morning.
Right.
I might walk into a room, I used to do morning. So I'm walking in a room like this, like barely up, so I would just walk in and sit down sometimes and I'm still trying to like wake up and stuff. But I've never been rude where like someone spoke to me and I didn't say anything in response. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think I'm gonna have to make some enemies because I get on Zoom calls now and they be just quiet and I be like, good morning. Like, how you not saying nothing? Like, I don't understand how you just sitting around looking at these people's houses and you not saying good morning to them. That's rude.
Well, I agree. It's also rude if someone speaks to you, you don't speak to them. And if you do it enough to them, and it's funny. One particular person, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of being nice to this person. And this person is always rude, got an attitude, nasty, just nasty. Okay, I'm going to be in my petty shit and I will not say a word. Listen, not a word.
You got to look at the person though. I mean, like, think about it. You said just now you were getting ready to do a silhouette challenge. You decided not to. Look at that person. Could they do a silhouette challenge? Look how their build. Like, look how their life is going. Like, do they have a doorway in their house? Like, you just never know what people are dealing with. So you just got to give them the benefit of that. I always feel like if somebody doesn't like me, then there are some issues in their home. Everything's not okay at home because I'm okay. It's something wrong with you.
Or there's something not okay inside of them. They are insecure, or you intimidate them, or it could be a lot of things. Or
their parents probably put them on a diet in first grade.
Or
it comes out.
They probably go home to nobody, or they don't have anyone to talk to. But I there have been times where I have not dealt with things in the best possible light, and I think it's because we don't have enough of these conversations.
Yeah.
We need to have these conversations, and people need to know you got to keep it professional. Try to ignore people when they're being rude, or kill them with kindness. And you're right, Shana, it does get tiring to kill someone with kindness. And I've been in my petty bag to the point where I'm not killing you with kindness no more. I'm not speaking to you at all. Like, we don't even work together directly anyway, so I have no reason to talk to you. Oh, you're not getting nothing from me. But take the higher road. One thing I want to talk about too is, like, if someone's saying something like racist to you, or sexist, go to HR. Like, there's certain times in my career where I wish I would have went to HR and I didn't. But you gotta document that. And we have this thing where we're like, don't snitch. When you don't put that on paper, you allow that person to say whatever it is they're saying, and not even try to hold them accountable. Now, I will say HR was set up to protect the company, not to protect you. So be mindful of that. A lot of the times people go to HR and then they're like, well, she's a problem, or he's a problem child. And then that happens. And that's why we don't go to HR. But there's times when I look back at some of the stuff I've gone through, I'm like, I should have went to HR to at least document that this person's saying something sexist to me, Yeah.
I agree. I feel the same way. And my mom actually works in HR. So when I've had some of the conversations with her, she told me, like, listen, if you go, just understand, like, you're ringing the bell and you can't unring it. Again, that's not saying they're going to retaliate against you. But again, HR is set up to protect the company ultimately. They'll protect its people, but they're going to protect the company. So be mindful of it. But there were definitely times she told me to go, and I'm like, no, I don't want to go. I don't think so. And now I look back like I probably should have been not, again, it wasn't anything to like get back at that person or whatever. It's like, so it doesn't happen again.
Right.
So it's not just pacified, and it doesn't just keep happening. But I do agree with you that there are not a lot of conversations. I think now for women, when it comes to sex in the workplace, there's definitely that conversation happening. Obviously, we've been talking about race a lot this year, not as much as what happens in the workplace though. But I think like when we were going through school or different things, nobody talks to you about like, hey, you're going to work somewhere and people just might not like you, and how you going to deal with it. You're right. Like, there was never that conversation until it just like happened. And I was like, Dex, like, what do you mean? Everybody likes me. What's going on?
Yo, it is a hard, it was a hard thing when you literally have all positive experiences, throughout your life. And then you get to that one job where it's like, damn, and it's negative, and it's like nothing you could do could change it. This person's nasty to you. They say disrespectful things. And it's like, you can't keep taking it. It's like that bully. You let people keep doing it, and that, now saying kind of bossing up the way I did a little bit is not the best thing to do. I was like, what's up? What's the problem, bruh? What you want to do? What you gonna do about it? Like, don't be mad at me, be mad at you, So I definitely had those conversations, and then just remind yourself that it's temporary. Like, if you're really that uncomfortable, leave. Mm-hmm. If it's your boss, like your immediate supervisor, just get an exit plan, man. They're not gonna change. Mm-hmm. If they're being a bully to you, or they're being rude and nasty to you, or they hating, they not letting you, move up in your career, or letting you advance, man, bounce. We stay in these jobs, and for what? Right.
I just had a conversation like that yesterday, just about people in life, about how like a lot of people are just afraid of change, but life, that's literally a part of life, is about change and learning how to adapt. The change never stops. And you see people, people are allowed to do whatever they want, but you see people, their plan is to work somewhere for 30 years. Their plan is to live somewhere for 40 years. Everything is just like, it's such a big part of your life, and it just seems like you're trying to not change and not grow by just staying stagnant, not thinking that you're able to get another job with higher pay and still keep your pension or whatever the case may be, is just staying stuck just based out of fear and things like that. So it's a lot of people that, face sexual harassment or face these, challenges at work, that they really feel like this is the only job I can get. I've been here so long, my goal or my mission is here and it's not another place. People don't see it. Well, a lot of people, can't see themselves just, another job is just so stressful, when the stress is right here. The grass is greener on the other side sometimes. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's crazy. I left one of my jobs and I knew I was leaving, and my mother, I never forget, my mother was like, well, you make a lot of money there, and why would you leave that kind of job? Yo, it's crazy. It took me some years, but I'm making now what I was making my base salary back then. And I work way less, like way less. I'm not stressed. I like who I work with. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my life is completely different and I make the same base salary that I did there. So it's like, you just gotta, you gotta move it around. You can't stay in these environments where, stuff like this is happening, Yeah. All right, guys. Well, anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
Ooh, you're on mute.
Dex has been doing that.
You guys just depressed me. I came into this. I was really excited for this conversation. And then now you guys are telling me that change is inevitable. So I'm going to go somewhere and they're not going to like me. And I'm sad about it.
No, Dexter, everybody loves you, Dexter.
That's what my mom said. That's why I've gone through life, 33 years of life, acting like this and being like this. And now it's going to be like, wait, we don't fool with you like that.
No, Dex, look. Everything's gonna be perfect for you.
I'm telling you, sunshines, unicorns, rainbows. I still believe in Santa Claus. I think that's the keys to success. If you still believe in Santa Claus in your heart, like genuinely still believe in Santa Claus, the world will be fine.
Like, there's no way you still believe in Santa Claus.
Why don't I?
Hold on. So you've never purchased any Christmas presents for anybody?
I do.
So there go your Santa Claus right there.
You always supposed to purchase gifts for people, but I'm telling y'all, Santa Claus is real. He puts it on people's hearts to know what to get for other people. He gives you opportunities, increases your finances, gives you money and whatnot. Him and God, they work together because they genuinely want people to have a good Christmas. I'm telling you, Santa Claus is real.
So he's a spirit, is what I could dig that. He's the spirit of Christmas. I could get it.
I can't tell you how many times I've gotten extra money in the month of December to pay for Christmas gifts. Like, it happens every year. I'm telling you, and it'd be coming out of nowhere. Just be blessings, just be falling in my lap, and they'd be like, "Thanks, Santa."
This year was a stimulus check.
Stimulus check. Come on.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. It's the 163rd episode of the Mina SayWhat podcast. I'm Mina SayWhat.
I'm Shana B.
Garnett Briscoe.
Dex Stuckey.
Bye, guys.